If knowing were enough, every podcast addict would be debt-free, fit, and fluent in Mandarin by now. Yet here we sit, overflowing with knowledge, while execution has become rare. We're drowning in how-to content, but starving for real results. I'm here to tell you that if you've already been on your knowledge acquisition journey and are filled to the brim with hacks, the missing ingredient isn't another strategy. So what's the decisive factor that determines whether any tactic survives its first week? It's not effort or motivation, but something far more powerful and almost invisible. And frankly, a bit boring. Jeff Olson calls it the slight edge. And once you see it, you'll realize why 95% of people sabotage themselves without ever knowing why. This book will help you find success in a quiet daily philosophy, one that guides you to take the required steps you're probably already familiar with, long after the initial motivation fades. And when I say daily philosophy, I mean it. You're going to need to question your philosophy and how change actually happens. This diet failed me. This business strategy doesn't work. No. In reality, the problem was never the strategy. It was your unconscious expectation that progress should look dramatic, immediate. The actions that create real results feel meaningless in the moment. If you're working towards something and the results you aimed for don't show after a couple of weeks or months, you're going to feel like you're wasting your time, and you're going to feel like, well, an idiot, especially if you're doing it online. Now, before I tell you what the slight edge is exactly, let me hit you with the main thing I actually learned from the book that isn't written in the book. I had the wrong goals. And if you're watching this, you probably do too. Successful people online and offline tell you to dare to dream, to dare to want, be the Lulu. Successful people tell you about how insane they worked, the extremes to which they went to reach their dreams, and they motivate you to do the same, at least momentarily. And to be honest, none of it is wrong. You are as capable as they are, but they have something you lack. They have discipline. But the thing is, discipline has become such a core part of their identity that they've forgotten or aren't fully aware of just how hard it was to build it in the first place. It's like asking someone who goes to the gym every day how they do it. If working out has been a part of their core identity for years, they can't clearly explain to you what it took to start. And if they do, and they give you tips, their tips end up motivating you, but not really contributing to any actionable steps you can take. Often, the advice they're giving and having all these huge goals are tailored and will help someone at discipline level 35 or 25 or even 15. Meanwhile, we're stuck at level 1 to 3. So yeah, you can end up using their tips, just probably not right now. And if you lack discipline, grandiose goals that you don't reach will only make you feel like a failure. As an example, I moved to Korea 6 months ago, thinking that throwing myself into an uncomfortable environment would force me into discipline. My logic was that if I chose an environment where I knew no one, did not speak the language, and essentially had nothing, I would create the perfect uncomfortable space devoid of any distractions and become disciplined. In a video I filmed in the airport going from Paris to Shanghai to Seoul, I kept quoting St. Augustine, who said that complete abstinence is easier than perfect moderation, which kind of fueled my logic. I was using a true and logical framework, but applying it to the wrong skill set that I had. So what you need to do is to apply the correct framework to the current skill set that you have in hopes that the framework will upgrade your skill set, which is what successful people do online. But if you don't have discipline, again, they're starting in a place that you currently are not at. And it's important to know where you're starting from, right? I mean, it's gonna maybe like destroy your ego a bit, but it's still important. So for example, if your goal is to read 15 books a year and you're starting from zero and you attempt to read something by Nietzsche, you might end up with a concussion, a brain aneurysm, or a sudden belief and conviction that reading is just not for you. This is because you would have skipped all the other books that you would have needed to read in order to build an arsenal of, more advanced, difficult words that you'll learn to understand, philosophy basics, and general joy and enjoyment of reading. In the same way, right now, regardless of how big your ambitions are, if you lack the basis of what you need to achieve them, the only thing you'll end up with is a dream. So you need to reframe your goal. It shouldn't be to lose 15 kilograms. It should be to lose 1 kilo this month. It shouldn't be to save $10,000 by the end of the year. It should be to save $100 every month, or maybe even less than that. Maybe stop taking money out of your saving account. Your goal shouldn't be to blow up on social media. It should be to just be consistent for the next 6 months. That's it. Your goals should match the level of discipline you currently have +1, so that you can actually level up without feeling like a failure. For me, that meant letting go of chasing YouTube numbers and only focusing on consistency. I currently don't have any subscriber targets or viral ambitions. I'm just trying to show up. The only way to level up is to start where you are, not where you think you should be, if that makes sense. Now, what exactly is the slight edge? I got you. The slight edge is the principle that small and significant choices, repeated consistently over time, lead either to compounding success or gradual decline. There's no neutral ground. Every day, in every area of your life, you're either slightly moving forward or slightly moving backward. The challenge is that the results are not visible until eventually, I do mean eventually, because you need to be patient, they're undeniable. Your mind is wired to resist this because it craves grandiosity, especially in the current age that we are at with social media and everything. So by tomorrow, you might end up thinking, this is too basic, I need a more advanced strategy, or I'll start when I have more time. But you've already tried that. You don't need to learn more. You don't need to listen to more podcasts. You don't need to read more how-to books. You just need to do. That's it. Just start doing. And you also need to become okay with boring, everyday tasks. Because although greatness is often portrayed to be achieved through large, dramatic steps, there are smaller, very boring steps that actually led the large, dramatic steps that most of us don't see. And you'll need to cross these boring steps, and there are many of them. So I invite you to stop expecting to see results and, to matter of fact, redefine your entire notion of results. The result you should be aiming for is, today I did X, not today I got this from doing X. Now, from a neurological perspective, our brains are wired for immediate gratification. Y'all don't need me to tell you that. But again, the key to lasting change is not heroic efforts, but reshaping the micro choices that feel insignificant, like reading 10 pages a book per day or studying a new language 10 minutes a day. Every single action that you take is going to strengthen neural pathway in your brain through a process called myelination. Think of it like adding layers of insulation to electrical wiring. Small, repeated actions build thick, durable connections. Connections you can use to then set and achieve bigger goals. Okay, so let's get a bit more scientific. Progress follows what mathematicians called a sigmoid curve. Slow initial growth followed by rapid acceleration, then leveling off. The danger zone is that first flat period where effort feels pointless. This is where 95% of people give up, myself included. I've given up many times, so I know what I'm talking about. And this area, once you eventually get past it, your efforts start to compound. So your job isn't to force growth, it's to keep adding pennies to your metaphorical growth jar without taking any out. Consistently, day after day, in almost boring manner. At first, nothing will move. After that, nothing will move for a very long time, believe me. But eventually, everything does. Everything changes. Now, obviously, I'm recording this video and I haven't reached the period where everything changes, but that's what I've seen other people go through. So yeah, I mean, please, something change. I don't know, at some point, but anyway. And the hardest part of all of this isn't actually doing the work. It's trusting the process and trusting that the compounding effect will eventually take place. No matter how long, that takes. Hopefully not that long, Jesus. The compounding actions of things shows up in literally every aspect of life. In finances, in health, in learning, in relationships. So, my guy, stop telling yourself that you're going to achieve the impossible next week, because you might only be able to achieve the impossible for a week and then go back to just nothing. Start small as you need to. And when your brain tells you this doesn't matter, it won't change anything, tell your brain that it obviously sucks in math, because compound interest works for everything, and math doesn't care about your feelings. However, the same math does work in reverse. Small neglects compound over time. That extra snack, that skipped workout, that procrastinated task, that additional year you spent doing the same exact thing that you did last year. These are pennies removed from your jar. Years of not doing anything will compound into you not doing anything. Okay, now if you're anything like me, your brain is now going to scream at you and tell you, what about luck? What about luck? Life is so unfair, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you're right. There are lottery winners, social media posts that go viral overnight with no real effort on the part of the creator. Career wins that happen without years of grinding. Fortunes amassed because you just happen to be born to rich parents. These things are all true and valid, but if you're watching this, here's the harsh-ish truth. You're unlucky. At least for now. Life has been unfair to you, and the only person that owes you anything is you. So for the sake of yourself, you're going to need to do whatever it is that you need to do, regardless of how unfair it feels. Right now, you have to take the longer road. There are no shortcuts. Shortcuts exist. They're just not here for you right now, and you can't really do anything about that other than to show up. You need to position yourself for luck to eventually, hopefully, happen to you. In The Slight Edge, Olson actually rewrites the popular saying of luck is when preparation meets opportunity. For him, luck is preparation. That's it. So, here's your challenge. Pick one area to apply the slight edge in. Choose an action so small it feels trivial, but do it every day for just 15 minutes. I know this sounds like the most meaningless time to put towards anything, but do it. You probably do plenty of meaningless things every day anyway, so whatever. Do it and track the thing visibly, because this actually helps a lot. And when resistance comes from your brain, because it will, recognize it as proof that you're on the right path. Because in a world chasing quick fixes, the real advantage goes to those who understand success isn't about the size or grandiosity of your actions, but the consistency of your commitment. Our culture celebrates the leap, but the leap is just the tip of a staircase no one bothered to film.